Thank you so much for joining me, and today I'm going to take a look at the trades I took on Thursday, October 13th, 2022. So first here, I'm not even going to take a look at the trades I'll show you. Look at the chart first off. So this morning, before trading, everything tanked with the CPI numbers that were showing inflation still rising. So the market was down about 500 on the Dow, just about I think 200 or 300 or so on the NASDAQ. And if you look at the pre-market section of everything, looking here, of course, at AMD, the Qs, the SPY, and Tesla, the 2-minute charts on the top and the 5-minute on the bottom. Everything on the left in the lighter gray area, everything was trending pretty lower from that everything fell off at 8:30, right when the report came out. So right off the open here, it was looking, anticipating anyway, for everything to continue to push lower. So I only took one trade today on AMD. So at the market opening down 500, I was assuming it was going to try to push lower. So if you look at the chart here for AMD, you see at the beginning here, it did test this. I had drawn this dotted line here. I was looking for a possible short to take a put here at this 54.67 level. Now, if you look at this little wick here, it actually did set up for a lower. It would have definitely got stopped out here or taken a loss. Had I taken this trade, it was a quick wick down. By the time you got in, it wicked back up and continued to go on higher. Now, looking at the chart, if you look at at least this hour and a half or so for the first part of the morning when I'm trading anyway, looking at this chart, it doesn't look the obvious setups. You would assume if someone took trades here, they obviously went long on this stock, but that was not my thinking. I was looking for everything to reverse, and I think that bias just played into having a big red day on today. And even taking a look at the 2-minute chart on AMD, the dotted lines I draw here, these are areas where I'm looking to possibly take a position. They both set up, if you would, like I mentioned before, if you're looking at this chart, you would assume someone went long. These would have been great entries for a long trade, as it consolidated here and then bounced off that sideways action anyway. So looking at this green arrow here, I was looking for it to go short here, looking for it to break back down. Just really not trusting AMD. AMD tends to go against the market sometimes before it eventually reverses and catches up. So I was looking for AMD to fail. At this time, everything was starting to show a little bit of weakness, and I guess I just wasn't trusting the rally too much at this point. Everything was still red on the day. Nothing hadn't turned positive as of yet. And as of course, if you know, at the end of the day here, the Dow basically had about a 1,300 point move from being down 500 and then being up around 800. So 800 points or so. So that's a pretty massive swing. If you could have went long on that, that would have been a great day and a great week and a great month possibly if you caught all of that, which no one's going to catch every move. But looking at the trades I did, I'll just show both of them here at the same time. So got into AMD, took 4 contracts, which helped to make the loss bigger. Got in here at 10:34 and 18 seconds. So once again, looking at the 2-minute chart for AMD, I was looking for it to break through this dotted line here. And so I got a little bit of downward movement and took a position here as it approached again see that red line here, that was the previous day's low, expecting it to break through. But looking back at the chart, there wasn't really that many red candles where it showed continuation. The red candles, if you ignored the open, were just basically slight pullbacks, people taking a little bit of profit, not really successions of red candles. This was the only part of the chart up into the morning anyway, at this time of day, where you saw any consistent pullback. And of course, everything looks perfect in hindsight. But I thought maybe it would possibly roll over for a second. But if you look at the VWAP here, which is the purple line, and then the 9 EMA, which is the red line, it was way above the VWAP. It was flirting plus or minus around the 9 EMA. So nothing here was a clear, obvious short. There could have been possible the obvious short, which I thought about taking and I didn't, just as a starter, was right here on this, right above the dotted line. You see this green wick candle wicked up to that 56.94 spot. That would have been a great starter to take that, because that was the first green candle after this 4 red candles here. So that we wicked up, but it basically wicked up almost the entire move. So that was the first sign I shouldn't have got into this trade. But even still, if I had taken a starter here at the second red candle where it wicked up to the same spot and failed, that would have been a better place to take a starter, possibly even the full position there to test and for a test of the area I was looking to break. So even if it didn't break all the way through, that would at least been some profit, even on one or 2 contracts. So got in there and held it. Now that once again, as you see, it starts to trend up here. that 56.94 should have been a stop. That's actually, 50 cent move the other way. So that's actually giving back a decent amount of profit. That should have been, even before that, should have been a stop. Once it failed and didn't push lower, and like about the next candle the next green candle, it touched it briefly. And that's what helped to give that sense of false hope that I was going to continue lower. But nothing, of course, happened. It just continued to trend higher, and the loss just got bigger. First of all, because I had 4 contracts, and then secondly, because I just stubbornly held it. And with every, inch of a put, every red candle, every wick lower, thinking that might be the time to, that it's going to actually turn around and give a big push lower. Because, those candles do happen where you get those giant moves one way or the other, where a bunch of orders get pushed through all at once. But that was not the case today. So held those for, if you look at the exit here, I got out at 10:50 and 9 seconds. So held this trade for about 15 minutes. Normally looking at my stats and going over the trades from before, anytime I hold anything over 5 minutes, most of the time, just because I try to get in and out, is probably because I'm holding a loser and you're waiting for it to turn to a winner. So if this trade had been positive, it would have been definitely because of luck, not because you got in and made a good entry. The chart overall, the market was just rallying, and I just was anticipating the move lower just because it has such a red opening. But the charts and everything else was just showing otherwise. I should have just been long with the market. It's above VWAP, it's above the 9 EMA for the majority of the day. So in hindsight, of course, this should have been a long. And the entries that show on here in the arrow, the green, which is the buy order, and the red is the sell order. These are obviously, if you had taken calls, this would have been a great trade. And you, of course, look like a genius on in hindsight. But on the wrong side of this, taking the great entries, but just the wrong order. I should have been calls on this, and would have been an easy exit, even possibly holding a few with the way the market was just performing today. So 4 got in at 90, bought the 4 at $94, and got out the other 4 at 63. So even if you're taking just one contract, that's a $30 loss. That's a big loss for just one contract, considering you only paid $94 for it. So all the way around, this was just not good execution, not good risk management in any kind of way. So can't blame the market for this one. This is just bad execution, and should have just cut the loss a lot quicker, and maybe possibly got it on another move, and just kind of read the market, what the market is telling you, not the bias you had going into it. Have to be a little bit flexible here, and I wasn't doing that today. So, and it looks even more obvious if you take a look at the 5-minute chart on AMD. There's nothing about this chart that says go short. I mean, the majority of the candles up until this point, an hour and a half into the session, there's only 6 or 7 candles that are red. Everything else is green. So there's not really a day to go short. This is definitely a long day. Just kind of misread this, just had an overly short bias and was looking to confirm that versus looking at what the market was showing. So just a one trade on AMD, the 4 contracts in at 94 and the 4 contracts out at 63. To be down today, $129.31. Yeah, it's a really terrible red day. So thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button below. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notifications so you don't miss my next upcoming video on my journey to the $25,000 PDT level. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.